They want to see you shatter. They push, provoke, and whisper in ways designed to pull you apart, not because you're weak, but because your calmness reminds them of everything they've lost. In a world that feeds on reaction, silence is rebellion. And the one who remains calm when all others rage, is the one who cannot be controlled. He had always believed that calmness was his strength, until the world around him began to test it. At first, it was subtle, a mocking tone here, an unfair judgment there. But soon, the tests grew crueler. Words became daggers, and every day felt like walking through a storm of criticism and misunderstanding. He tried to reason with them, but reason has no place where envy lives. People could not stand his stillness, it reminded them of their own chaos. They wanted to see him react, to pull him down into the noise where they all screamed to be heard. Every insult was a spark thrown at his composure. Every betrayal, a blow to the fragile wall of peace he had built within. And yet, he stood there, silent, still, breathing through the pain. It was in these moments he realized something: peace is not tested in solitude, it's tested in fire. The world doesn't try to destroy you because you're weak, it does so to see if your calmness is real. As he walked away from the noise, he felt the first flicker of understanding, that staying calm was not about ignoring the chaos. It was about facing it, and not letting it take root inside you. But the true test had only begun. The more he withdrew from conflict, the louder the world became. Silence, it seemed, angered people more than words ever could. They mistook his restraint for weakness, his stillness for surrender. But he was learning that composure isn't the absence of emotion, it's the art of carrying emotion without letting it spill. Each day brought new trials. Friends turned distant, critics multiplied, and isolation began to whisper doubts into his ear. His calm exterior was becoming a mask, one that hid the storm rising quietly beneath it. He wanted to scream, to defend, to prove himself. Yet something inside urged him to wait, to breathe, to let time speak for him. He remembered a thought once read in an old Stoic text: if you can stay calm when the world is collapsing, you have already won. But victory felt hollow when loneliness was the price. Still, he refused to surrender his peace to those who thrived on chaos. There were nights when he stared at the ceiling, questioning if calmness was worth the cost of being misunderstood. Yet as the world grew noisier, he began to sense a deeper strength rising from his silence. The storm outside was fierce, but the storm within, that was what truly mattered. He realized that mastering calmness wasn't about escaping chaos. It was about learning to navigate it, untouched. But the lesson would deepen further when life decided to strike harder than ever before. One morning, it all came crashing down. The quiet endurance that had held him together began to fracture under the weight of endless noise. The people he trusted turned away, the opportunities he'd worked for slipped through his fingers, and suddenly his calmness felt like a curse. The world had stripped him of everything external: reputation, validation, belonging. For a moment, he broke. The silence that once gave him power now felt hollow. He looked inward and found exhaustion where peace used to be. Yet, in that emptiness, something unexpected emerged: stillness, pure and unshakable. It was not the calm of a man pretending, it was the calm of a man who had nothing left to lose. He began to see the truth: calmness is not a performance, it's a surrender. It's the quiet acceptance that the world will never move according to your will, and that peace can only exist where control ends. As days passed, he stopped trying to prove, to defend, to correct. He simply observed, himself, others, the chaos. The same words that once cut deep now passed through him like wind through an open field. He had reached the point the Stoics spoke of, where the external world loses its power to disturb the inner one. But calmness, he learned, isn't the end of the journey. It's the foundation. What came next would redefine his entire existence. From the ashes of defeat, a different kind of strength began to take shape, not loud, not visible, but unbreakable. He no longer reacted to the world, he responded to it. Every trial that once shook him had become a teacher, every wound a lesson carved into his character. Calmness was no longer an effort. It flowed through him like quiet fire, steady, powerful, unseen. The same people who once mocked his silence now found themselves drawn to it, unable to understand how he remained unmoved while everything around him demanded reaction. But he knew the answer: peace is not a gift you receive from the world, it is a discipline you forge against it. He learned to stand like a mountain, unbothered by storms, untempted by praise. Life still tested him, but the tests no longer defined him. For every insult, he found compassion. For every setback, patience. And in every moment of chaos, he rediscovered himself, calm, deliberate, and free. He realized that the true power of calmness lies not in escaping conflict, but in mastering your response to it. When you stop letting others dictate your emotions, you reclaim your freedom. And so he walked forward, not as a man untouched by pain, but as one who had mastered it. Unshaken. Silent. Alive. Because in a world trying to break him, he had found the rarest strength of all, peace that no one could take away. If this story awakened your inner strength, subscribe to Stoic Hustle and join a community that sharpens the mind, strengthens the soul, and teaches you to remain unshakable no matter what the world throws at you.